Party, or the Yellow Shirts, very much a group that has chosen Cambodia border disputes as one of their reasons for being, if you like, and they are camping out on the streets at the moment in Bangkok, the Thai capital, calling for the Prime Minister to resign because he hasn't been tough enough with Cambodian border issues. So certainly we are seeing that this is an internal issue within Thailand as well as an issue with its close neighbour Cambodia.
Yeah, and Cambodia calling for the UN Security Council to do something. I mean, could we see foreign intervention?
Well, the Thais certainly don't want that. We saw a media conference just a few hours ago from the Thai government as well as the Thai military. They were saying that they don't see the need for any international intervention at the moment. But in the same breath, they're saying that really the negotiations that have taken place directly with Cambodia over the last couple of days since this latest round of tension escalated, the negotiation has not worked. So they are not willing to make the first step now. They're not willing to call Phnom Penh to open fresh negotiations. They are saying that that is up to the Cambodians because they say the Cambodians have started these conflicts over the last few days. Therefore, they should be the ones that open the negotiations.
OK, Wayne, thanks very much indeed for that. Wayne Hay reporting on the border tension there between Thailand and Cambodia. Now, a general strike in Bangladesh is paralysing much of the country. Security forces are on a heightened state of alert and have fired tear gas at protesters. Our correspondent Nicholas Huck is in the capital, Dhaka.
10,000 police officers have been deployed across the country as the opposition party, the Bangladesh National Party, called for a general strike. And right now, they're shouting Hartal, Hartal, which means general strike. They want a total shutdown of the country, and this is following a night of riots. 10 buses have been burnt down, and the bomb was detonated inside Dhaka University, injuring 2 people. The opposition party are said to be unhappy about the rising food prices as well as the stock market prices falling. Now, later on today, share market brokers are said to join the protests, and the situation here is increasingly tense.
Emergency warnings have been issued for areas of Western Australia as bushfires expand. Dozens of homes have already burned down and more houses are under threat as the blaze engulfs the outskirts of Perth. Andrew Thomas reports from Sydney.
After widespread floods and a tropical cyclone, the latest natural disaster to hit Australia, bushfires. Southeast of the West Australian capital Perth, a spark from industrial equipment lit bone-dry grass. A second fire developing to the north of the city.
And whilst Victoria battles floodwaters, over in the west, people are battling bushfires. And we've seen the loss of homes. People who have been through the devastation of knowing that all of their possessions are gone, many of them not able to take things with them that are precious to them and which are now lost.
Gusty winds fanned the flames, houses in their path destroyed, and residents urged to abandon property.
All of a sudden the police just came along and said, please move along now, like the fire has jumped with the wind and everyone had to leave.
During daylight, the fire is being fought from the air, as well as from land. But it's been overnight when helicopters can't fly that the flames have been at their most destructive.
It's horrendous conditions. We knew it was going to be difficult to control. These sort of fires overnight, we don't have the aerial support, but the ground crews get in there and do their best to protect properties and hold it.
While winds remain strong, the flames have the upper hand, homeowners doing what they can to stop their progress. These fires come 2 years to the day after Black Saturday, the worst bushfires in Australian history that killed over 150 people. So far, property the main victim this time around. Andrew Thomas, Al Jazeera, Sydney.
OK, so we're just getting an update for you into the newsroom here. Latest pictures coming out of Sudan showing President Omar al-Bashir and the southern leader Salva Kiir. Now, they're receiving the official results of the referendum which took place. Likelihood is that South Sudan has overwhelmingly voted to secede from the north, becoming the world's newest country. Official results, though, not out until a few hours from now later on today. Now, the Green Bay Packers have their hands on the biggest prize in North American sport. The Packers won their 4th Super Bowl title after a thrilling game with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Andy Richardson reports.
There's number 7, their quarterback.
Two of the sport's most storied franchises and two of the NFL's finest quarterbacks head-to-head for Super Bowl 45. It was Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers who started quickest. The Pittsburgh Steelers trailing by 21 points to 3 after this Greg Jennings touchdown. Rodgers would go on to throw for more than 300 yards. The Steelers stayed in touching distance, but in the 4th quarter, a 3rd touchdown pass from Rodgers, again to Jennings, looked to have made the game safe for the Packers. The Steelers responded though, Ben Roethlisberger throwing a 25-yard touchdown pass for Mike Wallace, and the Steelers were within 3 points. But a Packers field goal and a final incomplete pass from Roethlisberger
A lot of contact.
meant the title was Green Bay's. 31-25, the final score.
Green Bay will take over.
It's just a feeling of accomplishment right now, that we've accomplished our goals. We talked about it March 16th when we met for the first time, and here we are, the world champions.
It's a tough game, and there's probably a lot of what-ifs. There's a lot of throws I'd like to have back. Like I said, I don't put a blame on anybody except myself.
The Vince Lombardi Trophy, named of course after the legendary Packers coach, on its way home for the first time since 1997. Andy Richardson, Al Jazeera.
We'll have all the latest developments here on Al Jazeera throughout the day, including coverage of developments in Egypt, where protesters again en masse in Tahrir Square in Cairo. Stay with us. Headlines next.
Afghanistan is faced with a huge challenge.
Relations have gone really sour between us and our allies.
We have inflicted considerable damage on the enemy.
The people who make international headlines.
Ultimately, the truth will out.
They want to stop this publication of information that embarrasses them.
Make time for Sir David Frost. Frost over the world. On Al Jazeera.
A popular uprising that shook the country to its core. A defiant president under siege from his people. As the protesters took charge of the streets, we look back at the events that are changing Egypt.
I will stay on the air if I can until the police come
in a special program, Al Jazeera gives you a day-by-day account from those that witnessed them firsthand. Egypt burning, at this time on Al Jazeera.
It is in the details. A look. A connection. The moments that reveal the truth. Award-winning documentaries from critically acclaimed filmmakers. Witness documentaries to open your eyes. At this time on Al Jazeera.
I'm trying to give you IFB for our correspondent, Shireen Tadros.
Sorry, I can't hear. Can you repeat? The Lebanese army have now been deployed across the capital. We can hear the sound of the Israeli drones just above us. The Israeli military have vowed to continue, and that is why everyone is moving whatever they can and trying to get out of here. The hospital is chaotic. Hundreds of people are just standing around waiting. The gunfire is continuing.
Shireen Tadros, Al Jazeera.
Volunteer tourism is booming in Cambodia, with more and more foreigners helping out in the country's orphanages and schools. But with claims of mismanagement and corruption, are these projects doing more harm than good? 101 East at this time on Al Jazeera.
Hello there, I'm Shuli Ghosh with the headlines here on Al Jazeera. Large crowds have gathered in Cairo's Liberation Square once again. It's the 14th day of anti-government protests. The symbolic coffin of a journalist who was killed in earlier demonstrations has been carried through the crowd. Ahmed Mahmoud worked for the state-run Al Tawoun newspaper. He was shot taking photographs from a balcony during the protests. Alan Fisher has the latest.
There's a sense of normality returning to Cairo. Shops are opening. Banks are functioning. Traffic is moving.
The past 7-8 days affected the entire country,